Guys, I gotta admit, like, okay, so this is obviously the third video that I'm doing at this space today. And one of the park rangers just came up to me and she was like, are you doing a YouTube video? And I was like, yeah. I always feel a little bit ashamed because I feel like such a nerd. Like, oh yeah, I'm like getting in front of the camera like anybody gives a shit what I say, right? So yes, there's some judgments I have about what I do in that way here, but it was so cute. She was like, this is the coolest thing I've seen in so long that you get to do a YouTube channel here. It was cute. She was a big fan of it. So right before she came over though, and I love it, she kind of infused this frequency into my thought. I was thinking of the like docu-series Bad Influence. I'm not going to super explain it, but in short, the mother in this kid's YouTube channel, this is why my kid has been begging me to have a YouTube channel since she was like 0 and she's 9. And the answer is no, absolutely not, right? This woman clearly disordered, and she exploits the shit out of her kid. And I know somebody like that. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people actually like that, which is scary because they look very normal. And when they are that way, the woman in Bad Influence, her mind is how every mind who's like hers thinks. They just have different tools of engagement. So let me just put it this way, the person that I know that's like that, if she had the same tools, same business savvy sense in a modern day life, she would be exactly what that woman is. They're all kind of the same, which is scary. And if you're raised by them, and one I want to say, if you are the girl, not like you would ever watch this, but who is the daughter of the mother in the show Bad Influence, I love you. And that is not love. I won't cry here, but that is not love, what you experience. And I can see that that girl loves. I can see that that girl loves her mother, that she wants to protect her, that she wants to protect her from how other people see her because her mom manipulates her into thinking like, look, I'm the victim. We all know this person. If you're watching my channel, in your own life probably, right? And it might not present that extreme. It might not present like that, but the presentation is only expressed because of the person's cards and the tools that they have access to. If your person in your life had access to a bunch of kids, a bunch of money, a bunch of, you know, whatever, exactly the way that this girl positioned herself to have access, they would probably be just like this girl. If they're like that woman, right? So I'm sitting here remembering that yesterday in a session, I had this hit that, you know, I asked this person, like, would you scream at your child? Because you know that like tendency to be like, I'm not doing anything, so I'm a piece of shit. I'm just lazy. I'm laying around. Like, oh, I just colored for an hour. So like I have done nothing today and I'm not productive, right? When you're raised having to produce like a dairy cow 100% of the time or be overly responsible in ways that like you did not have capacity to, you grow to have that sense of like, if I'm sitting still, I'm a piece of shit. But most of my demographic never got to play. So we never knew what it was like to sit still. So how dare people expect us to sit still, right? So I asked this person, like, because her tendency was, you know, I felt unproductive. I did the thing that you told me to do, which is like draw and be in my creative space. And then, you know, the voice is loud. And I said, would you ever say that to your son, who is a toddler? Would you scream at him and be like, you're not producing, you're a piece of shit and a waste of life, like we heard, right? grow up and do something. You can't color right now, right? I know for a fact she wouldn't do that to him. But in her own psyche, she does that to herself. And what came out of my mouth when I felt this frequency of like, I know that she would never do this to somebody she loves. But she is doing it to herself, who is love. And that is a manipulation. It's not acceptable to do to love, right? But she does it to herself. And that frequency is the same frequency that the woman in bad influence exercises, right? She externalizes that frequency and exploits other people. You're going to do my bidding. You're going to do my dirty work. And I'm going to make it look like, oh, this is for the benefit of all of us. And I'm amazing. And look what I give you. Look at all of these things that like I give you. Blech. This woman sucks. So those people externalize their tendency to exploit. My people internalize and self-exploit, right? So they can't leave themselves alone. The second that they're alone, their head chatters, you're a piece of shit, you should be doing something, and they treat themselves, I should say, as if as if you were, imagine going up to a toddler who's coloring. And this was like theoretically my experience as I remember it. And just slapping them on the back of the head. Be like, what are you doing, you piece of shit? Did you get anything done today? And I'm not saying you're a toddler, right? Like, but there are times that you have to be left alone to be productive in unproductive ways. My God, guys, can you please get over the idea that money is the way that you know that you produced? Come on, man. Like Tesla, just think of this. Every great person who actually had good ideas that changed and revolutionized life pretty much went to their graves with none. No money. And guess what? The currency in their head that they followed their entire life was more worth it to them than that. If they got lucky, they had some business savvy shit, but usually those people were lucky enough to be able to exploit other people like Tesla was exploited, right? But basically, we have to leave the self to its craft instead of, and that's another thing here. It's like, I like doing my craft. I don't market my business really. I do it in very subtle ways, very, very seldomly, right? If I'm left to my craft, I'm incredibly good at my craft. But if I have to self-exploit, step out of my craft 100% to be like, hey guys, I can do my craft. Pay attention to me doing my craft. That's not what I like to do, because that's the marketing piece. That's the admin piece I don't like. Left to our own craft, we will know ourselves differently than trying to be somebody who's like, oh, I can't sit down right now because I'm not making money and that means I'm a piece of shit. You wouldn't say that to a toddler. And if you would, you shouldn't have a toddler, and you shouldn't even be in the room with a toddler, right? But in your head, you're in a room with a toddler that you kind of beat up all the time and exploit or want to exploit for money. And that's what the chick in bad influence does. That's people who sell their children and sex traffic their children. That's the parent in your own head. So that sucks when people talk about reparenting inner children, right? Well, if you have that shitty parent, maybe we should talk about connecting to your inner child before you reparent your inner child, right? So I suppose that's all. That every time that you do something that is of value to creator and of value to you as the creator, even if it feels as simple as like your little toe, right? Like, come on, man, we need that shit. And if you want to color before bed and you're like, oh, this isn't important because I'm not making money. It's like saying that your little toe isn't important. Why don't you just chop it off? Like, no, it's important. It's foundational. It's necessary for your inner being because you are a creator. But if you only create with a desire for a result of the creation, that's not creation. That's so much limitation. Do you understand that? Can you hear what I am saying? If you only create for the result so that you can see the end result in a way that like other people are also going to see it and reward you for it, that is limitation. That's not expansion. That's not creation at all. And most people are only creating for money. What if you created for you or for God or for life? What if you just created? But my kind of people, they don't really get that, right? They're always like, Stacy, so I'm like, no, I just feel like a piece of shit. I'm like sitting on the couch. Didn't you wait your whole life to be able to do that? Do you want to use money as an excuse to not live as an actual being and just always be doing and chasing something you actually kind of resent and fear? So stop self-exploiting on behalf of money, because that is what you do to yourself, and that is what psychopaths do to their children. You don't have to do that. Please stop. You wouldn't do it to somebody else. You don't have to do it to you.